Today's guest is Oscar Padilla. He is a coach at 10th Planet Covina, and he coaches the beginner classes. We had a lot of conversations about being a beginner in jiu-jitsu and how to pursue a career as a beginner. I found this conversation very interesting as he gets to have a lot of hands-on experience with beginners. If you're interested in supporting the podcast, I just dropped a free 16-week workout that you can download with the link in description. This will put you in the subscription for the newsletter that I'm going to try and send out every Friday. All right, I hope you enjoy. And thank you.
All right, cool. My name is Oscar Padilla. I'm a coach over at 10th Planet Covina. I run some of the beginner classes. So we focus on, beginner movements, beginner drilling, getting everyone kind of up to speed on what they need to do in order to move on to the next stage of their jiu-jitsu game. Some advice that I'd have for someone trying to jump into the jiu-jitsu game is just do it. You're either going to love it or hate it. And for me, once I got in there, I loved it. But I definitely see how people could not like it. So my advice is just to jump in there and try it out,
There we go. And did you start in no-gi?
I actually took some like trial classes and they were gi. But I did love the no gi aspect of it. And yeah, so actually starting a membership was with gi. Oh,
No,
sorry,
the
no gi, no gi.
no-gi. Okay. And was it at the 10th Planet you're at now?
It is actually, yeah. It
Okay.
is.
And what made you want to start jiu-jitsu?
Well, I've always just been a rough guy with my friends, just messing around, thinking we could beat each other up. And then we actually, living close to Pasadena, we went over to Fight Academy, which is Herb Dean's gym. We did a little trial thing there. And man, I was like, this is so cool. But I could never afford it. So
It's
the
expensive.
fact is, I did school. When I got back from my study abroad, I actually found 10th Planet Covina. And Coach Cooey, shout out, he actually like talked to me and he's like, hey man, we just opened up. Um, right now is like super good deals. Let me know if you want to come back for a trial class. And I came back and he talked to me about prices and I could afford it. And I was like, let's go.
And now you're kind of trying to go into the more professional and full-time jiu-jitsu scene?
Yeah, so like I said, I just started coaching a lot of beginner classes. So my coach actually offers like a ton of beginner classes.
Hmm.
So it's between like, coaching and getting some big tournament spots. And yeah, I do want to go into the professional scene, but I also want to bring up some fighters as well, like the overall goal is to get into my own 10th planet one day, once I get my brown or black belt, hopefully. Maybe I'll do a kids gym someday, I don't know.
There you go.
But yeah, it's a mix of both things. I want to be a coach and I want to be a professional athlete. You have to put time into both of them and just see where that goes.
Yeah, and do you feel like coaching has improved your game overall?
Yeah, man, everything except cardio for sure. Like some weeks I'll like roll one day only, like or one roll after class. So I'll like
Hmm.
teach 5 days, and then I'll have one roll a day. But if I'm not rolling like 3 4 times a day, I'm super gassed out. But as far as my technique, yeah, man, it's like coming with coaching, like you have to realize you have to do everything like right the first time, and it
Hmm.
has to work like every time. I'm like, man, when you mess it up a little bit, you start sweating. You're like, all right, do it like this.
That's awesome. And do you feel like you said your cardio is kind of lacking, but do you feel like it's kind of making up for it in the fact that your technique is so much better?
It does in the sense of like rolling with like lower belts or like someone more of closer to my level, but definitely when it's with those hard guys, you know, you
Hmm.
need that little oomph in your game. You need that little blast of energy.
Yeah,
Sometimes you got to beat them to a position. You can't
that's
just
true.
yeah, someone with the same skill level, whoever's stronger, faster is gonna win that.
And are you doing outside the gym kind of training to improve the cardio and your strength?
So I was working with strength and conditioning coach. Another shout out, Get Racked Fitness. I was working with that guy a lot, my buddy Ricky. But actually, in November, I had a little bit of a like freak accident. It was so weird. I got like the flu,
Hmm.
and I slept for 3 days, and then I woke up and my like shoulder was all jacked up, and I had like um I call it cervical radiculopathy. It's
Whoa.
basically a pinched nerve in your neck.
Okay.
Um, so just from being in that position, I got like super jacked up and like my arm atrophied. But now I'm able to start lifting weights. I started with push-ups, little like just some body weight movements, and but yeah, definitely need to get into the gym, start lifting some weights because right now I'm noticing the guys that are my size, but they lift every day. It's tough to compete with them. So I
Yeah,
gotta get in there,
it's a
especially for injury prevention too.
yeah, and I know like our community isn't super big. Where like the small guy can always win, but I do think that weightlifting and having strength is super important. So
Yeah.
when you're building that out, like what are you looking to do? Are you more of a calisthenics, programming with strength training, like powerlifting?
Yeah, so I definitely like to incorporate a lot of powerlifting,
Mhm.
um, a lot of isometric work. I feel like jujitsu is a lot of isometric stuff, a lot of tension, um, high reps sometimes, even those high intensity interval trainings like that Aerodyne bike, that thing will build your cardio, let me tell you,
Those
dude.
are brutal.
And many times just throwing up in the grass after that thing, just
Oh, jeez.
for sure.
There you go. So you're kind of mixing in like a almost a circuit style training for your cardio.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Okay, you don't think like just doing straight road work has the same benefit?
Like running, you mean?
Yeah, running.
So yeah, I try to run, but man, once I get over like 4 miles, my
Mhm.
like knees start to really hurt and like then I'm out for like a week, dude. It's
Oh
so bad.
shit.
Yeah. I prefer the bike for sure. Bike or swimming. Swimming is cool when it's summertime.
Less diminishing returns.
Exactly, exactly. I mean you could work hard without the joints getting smashed.
Yeah, they're already getting
I've
smashed
always
at
been a
jujitsu.
sprinter too. I've never been a distance guy, so maybe that's the physiology in my body's like, nah, bro.
Yeah, why are you doing
Fast and
this?
short.
There you go. That's good for jujitsu.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I kind of want to get into like the coaching side with you because
Oh, sweet, yeah.
it's rare that we get a like coach. I had Jason Rao on there, but when you're talking about coaching and kind of building up these athletes, what in your head would be an ideal kind of system to work with an athlete from start to blue belt or finish, or where do you think that would go?
So, um, I'll give you a little breakdown of how I like to like set up my beginner classes. Because me and my coach were actually just talking about this.
Hmm.
Somebody got really mad at me for letting him roll live because
Oh no.
they got a little sprain somewhere. So we actually brainstormed. So I like to set it up with all like, of course, the 10th planet headquarters warm ups. You got your break fall shrimps, your S walks, your cartwheels, handstands. But I like to incorporate like forward rolls, back rolls. After that, I hit them with like forward shrimps, right? Just to like get them used to the movements of someone's pulling, getting out of your back control. You do a little forward shrimp,
Hmm.
resecure the position. A lot of Granbies, so I don't just do it on a day. Every time you come to my beginner class, we're doing some Granbies, dude. That neck's gonna be nice and flexible, right?
There we go.
So yeah, just different things like that, like how to switch your hips, how to do a break fall, how to do a technical stand up. So right now I'm really focusing on getting white belts able to train safely with other belts and other white belts and not destroy them or get destroyed. You know,
Yeah, just
yeah,
mess them up.
a big thing is teaching them how to tap, because that's one, man. They're just like, "Ah," I'm like, dude, your elbows through the skin. Bro.
They're
Gotta
dying.
tap. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And as a coach, and we just had the lawsuit settled and everything, and that's actually kind of close to your area.
Yeah.
How do you kind of approach them rolling, and when you're watching, are you looking for anything in particular, and where before that danger zone happens?
Yes. So I tell people, expect somebody to go as hard as you're gonna go. Especially being a beginner, you gotta you gotta ease into it. You know what I mean? You're gonna jump in, you're gonna get hurt, and you're not gonna want to come back. Same with your partner. Like I try to tell them like you want your partner there tomorrow as well. You don't want to just destroy this guy and be like, who's coming next? Because no one's gonna want to roll with you, dude. Just like I want to train for the next year. I'm not gonna roll with that guy because he'll blow my knee out or something.
Yeah.
So I like to just watch to see like what energy level they bring in, and like I'll kind of let them go at it for the first sub or the first 30 seconds, and then I'll be like, hey guys, it's not ADCC. That's your partner right there. Chill out. Mm, That's what
Okay.
that's
Just doing that and keeping an eye on the
yeah,
energy
keeping an
levels.
eye on them, and
Oh,
and like I said, getting them familiar with like a back roll, a forward roll, a Granby to keep themselves safe, tucking your arms in, not basing them out when you fall, you don't want a broken arm.
that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. And then when you like are watching them roll, what do you think some of the most common mistakes that the lower belt guys are doing that you notice?
The most common mistake is just trying to beast everything, and then they like tap out in 45 seconds. They'll like beast this dude, bam, they're beating up this girl, and then they get tired. I'm like, dude, you can't be a half round Sally. Like, what's going on? Like,
That's
you
true.
went so hard on that person, and now you're gonna like
You're
quit? No
you're
way.
done. That's
Yeah, I'm like, dude, pace yourself.
mhm. And do you think that's something that you just develop over time, or is there a method that you've been able to kind of tell them that you see it happen and like be effective right away?
Definitely training, like drilling the moves. You'll notice like dudes are trying to just like if they're fighting, right? You're just like, dude, hold on, slow it down, learn the move first. And when you learn the move, like when you can do this 10 times perfectly, then you could try it, like, but for now, like just slow everything down.
Hmm. Just
Slow it down.
slowing it
Yeah,
down and thinking, not being a dumb white
exactly.
belt. Yeah,
Exactly. Where's
and
my hand?
yeah, that's true. And
Go
then
ahead.
with that, and kind of seeing these mistakes that people are making, what do you think you've noticed that ends up being like, oh, this guy's going to be someone who kind of goes far in jujitsu? What do you think those traits are that you notice from them?
Um, I guess somebody that I guess I can't really tell just yet who's gonna be who.
Hmm.
Uh, but you see like in class, like one guy, one day he does this, and then the next day he's doing it like perfect, and you're like, oh, cool. Like, did you practice this? And they're like, yeah, I practiced this. So you got those hard workers that'll come in before the gym and before the classes has started. But those guys always go far. Like it's just a mentality thing, like, they're doing the extra work that other people aren't doing, and, that just speaks for itself. I mean, all of these professional guys, they're training 3, 4, 5 times a day, they're teaching 2, 3 classes a day as well, and, honestly, I need to get on that level.
Yeah, that
So,
grind.
yeah, going back to your question, like, I guess it's when you could tell who's willing to put in that extra work
Mhm.
and who's willing to, like, slow it down and pay attention to the move and pay attention to jujitsu and not just like think you're trying to like smash this person. Those
Mhm.
people that think like more cerebrally have like a better chance at being good at this sport because it is a thinking sport too.
Mhm. Rather than just a physical
Yeah,
athletic.
exactly. Yeah, I mean, being a goon will get you so far, but you got that one guy like Mikey Musumeci, man.
That's true.
I can think he knows everything you're gonna do and every way out. Like he's just the bomb. He's good.
Yeah, and with like kind of putting in the work, not just in the gym, what would you say some of the most effective outside learning resources would be?
Outside learning resources, man, that's a tough one, dude. Definitely, like, I like as far as like resources to learn stuff, dude. YouTube and Instagram, like jujitsu's popping right now. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, I
it
just
is.
posted a video and got like 40,000 views. I'm like, whoa, that's so crazy. And it's the stupidest thing too. It's just like a funny sound to like a front headlock. Like, it's so silly. But yeah, man, there's so much stuff you can do outside of the gym now. You know, you got you got all these different things you could do at another gym. You could practice at the park. You could practice with your friends. Maybe get a girlfriend that does jujitsu too.
There you
And you guys
go.
are always practicing. But yeah, yeah, I mean, like BJJ Fanatics is a good one. If you sometimes they have those deals where you can get some free jujitsu. Like I have some cool Craig Jones that I got for free.
Okay.
Um, yeah, and definitely just making friends at the gym, dude. Because then you go home, you're chatting to them about jujitsu. You're just always jujitsu, and the more you do it, the better you're gonna get.
Hmm. And how important do you think that like in gym community is?
Oh man, that's a big one for people. Like I've seen people come and go. I've been training for almost 5 years now, pretty consistently. So I've seen a lot of faces, and yeah, it's easy to quit, man.
Hmm. Just having that kind of gives you that extra motivation to come back, you think?
Yeah, like having a good community, like a good group of people will like want you to be there. You know what I mean? Like if you go into a gym where you're just getting ragdolled all day long and like everyone's just ragging on, you know what I mean? You have those guys that are like, you never beat me, I'll beat you. You know what I mean? Those
Y-
gym open mat warriors.
Yeah. They
And
never compete.
that's never cool, especially for like camaraderie, like, because you're gonna be like, hate that guy over there. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Um, yeah, that's definitely a big one, and that's something I try and like strive to do. Like I try and be like kind of cool with everybody,
Hmm.
um, because it's like, I mean, maybe if they're elbowing you in the face or something during a roll, like there's really nothing to be mad about with each
Yeah,
other, like it's fighting.
it's part of it.
Exactly. Like you're learning how to fight, dude. It's not gonna be like nice.
That's true. One thing that I actually like that my coach does is we have like our Facebook groups. Uh,
Okay, yeah, yeah. That's
that
cool.
so like everyone kind of can be involved and talk to each other in tournaments and stuff. Does your school do anything like that?
Yeah, we actually have a huge community on our Discord.
Okay, so you guys run a Discord channel.
Yeah, we have like basically when you sign up, we give you the link and you get on there. We have like, you know, um, all the different topics you could think of that pertain to the gym, important information. A lot of times, like, not everyone has an Instagram or not everyone's on it all the time. So
Hmm.
at least with a Discord, you can be like, open it up and, oh, I have messages from earlier. You don't have to watch a story that's like, 5 clicks in and saying the
Yeah,
gym's closed and you have to go back. What? Gym's closed today? Yeah, it
yeah,
just helps. It helps to have it like that. And then content as well. Our gym actually offers some pretty dope like content. Like we have some guys with some dope cameras that come in and like they just get hooked up with like
I
private
bet.
or classes or whatever, and they just like do some cool content work for us. So all those Covina boys should have some good Instagram content for sure.
Yeah, that's true. You guys are out in like the mecca of filmmaking
Yeah,
area.
yeah, exactly. We got a lot of film guys that work with us too. So
That's awesome. Do you guys have a YouTube channel or something that where you're putting a lot of the content?
we do actually. We have like 3 different like channels for our content
Hmm.
at the gym. So we have like my coach Kui Jitsu. He has his. Um, we have the 10th Planet Covina, and then my coach also owns a company called Matt Beast. Shout
Hmm.
out Matt Beast. They they sponsor a lot of people, and like they're getting pretty big traction. And he has kind of like 10P qualifiers
Hmm.
that we do to be on the Matt Beast team. And so, like, if you check out the Matt Beast YouTube channel, we actually have like a lot of qualifiers to be on the team. We do a lot of like in-house tournaments and like live stream tournaments and stuff. So it's pretty huge. It definitely like we definitely have a little bit of a following on social medias.
That's sick. And do you think that that is important, kind of building these social medias for a gym's growth now?
I think so. I think the time of like, you know, ads and print work. I mean, there is a market for that stuff, like magazines or whatnot, mail like coupons or whatever it
Brochures.
is,
Yeah.
brochures. Yeah, but man, everything's so digital now that like, especially for people in our scene, like Eddie Bravo calls them nerd assassins. So like pretty much everyone's tech savvy, everyone has a social media, so it's a big part of the growth of jujitsu, I think. Not just for our gym, but for jujitsu in general.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Get it kind of out to more people. I
Yeah.
yeah, I like what a B team kind of does with their YouTube where they show all the rolling and stuff. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, so I actually got a little inspired by them because I was like feeling bad about posting like my dudes, I'm like, oh, just choked my friend, but how's he gonna act, But then I was like, I guess it was cool. Like, if they'll have a problem with it, they'll probably just tell me.
Yeah, they'll let you know.
No big deal. But so far, nobody's had a big deal. I mean, I try not to like put in like where I'm like doing some stupid stuff, like trying
Yeah.
to be like a jerk. Just like a smooth, funny
Good ones.
kind of something that matches a cool audio.
There we go.
Um, so yeah, B Team definitely inspired me with that stuff. Beating up white belts, posting the videos.
And how do you think someone should ask to like start filming in a school? Like if someone were to come up to you and say, "Hey, I want to film my roles and stuff."
Um, Dude, honestly, I'll just like, the slap in the bump, be like, "Hey, is it cool if I film this?"
Hmm.
Be like, "Yeah, cool."
Just
And then,
easy.
yeah, if you're gonna, like one of my friends, um, I had him in like a deep anaconda, and I asked him before I posted it. I was like, "Yo, dude, are you cool with me posting this?" And he's like, "Yeah, I don't care, dude." So like, if you have someone in a sub where you might feel like they might feel a little certain way towards it, I would
Just
definitely
ask.
ask.
Okay.
Yeah, and let them know you're filming too, because you don't want to be like caught in some arm triangle, and then you look up and
The
or like
camera
those
in your face.
Jamaica chokes when your freaking eyes are bulging out and your tongue's like sticking out.
Oh, that's true.
See a camera right there, you're like, damn it.
You know that one's going online.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Guy's eyes pop out his head.
And then what do you think something that you wish you knew when you started jujitsu that you know now would have been beneficial to you?
Um, like I said, slowing it down, because during white belt, I wanted to compete a lot, so
Hmm.
I'd roll hard all the time, and I'd sprain my ankle or I'd get caught in a heel hook and it literally pops, and like, I'm just like, I have to take 3 weeks off, and as a white belt, you kind of think it's like more serious than it is, so I would have just taken it way slower, man, and like figured it out and then started competing at blue,
Hmm.
a little more
You think you
seriously.
would have waited to compete at blue?
Well, I mean, like the way that I was rolling,
Oh, okay.
or not the way that I was rolling, but yeah, I guess the way that I was rolling, but the way that I was training leading up, dude, I was cutting like 25 pounds.
Jeez.
What?
That's brutal.
Yeah, brutal, dude. As a white belt, like 4 months in, I'm like, yeah, but wait, making weight in the sauna. I'm like,
You
what?
just had it fucked up.
I probably messed up my body for sure. Cause like now, like, I have all these like nagging rib injuries. And that's what I felt like cutting weight really made my bones like brittle. It's kind of brutal.
Do you think you would have taken a more like strategic approach to it going back, whereas you would have built like a system you would follow, then compete, and then
Exactly.
okay,
System. Um, and also not cutting weight. Like right now, I don't cut weight anymore.
Do you think it's important? In jiu-jitsu, it's not really that big of a deal to cut weight compared to like MMA or Thai boxing. So do you think that competitors at the like local tournament should even be thinking about cutting weight?
I don't think so, but they do.
Hmm.
Um, like some places have day before weigh-ins, which is crazy. I'm like, dude, like my last tournament, I'm not gonna say which one it was, but it's a dope tournament. I really love it. I'm gonna do it again. Um, but they had day before weigh-ins, and like I weighed in at 154 for the 155 bracket, and these dudes were like, they had to be like 180, dude.
They're just huge.
Like you could just
Jesus.
see in the matches, I'm like, I collar tie them, and their collar tie just knocks me over. I'm like, dang, you know. But it's all good. It's all good. I think it has its benefits, you know. You'll be the bigger, stronger guy, but maybe your cardio isn't as good, or you're like you know your your muscle capacity isn't as good as it should be. You're
Hmm.
burning out and cramping up, you know. So there's positives and negatives, but yeah, I would love to like go back and give myself a good system that I would. It's one that I would like tell people to do now if they were like competing and I'm their coach.
Hmm.
Definitely would have changed some things.
Some stuff around.
Yeah.
Do you see that in when you're coaching athletes? You see a guy kind of doing what you were doing, and you kind of are like, "Hey, you should do it this way instead."
Yeah, yeah, but usually those guys are like, "Well, coach so and so told me this." I'm like, "Cool, all right." I'm just offering advice, dude.
They're all pissed.
Yeah, you definitely notice how gung ho people are like
That's
early
great.
on. They're like, because I feel like at least for me, this was my chance to be a pro athlete. So like I didn't really have like the athleticism or the passion or drive to really be, a athlete in like high school sports or stuff. I mean, I played on varsity teams, but I was always that guy that just got by with like I just had a little bit of athleticism that got me by, and I
Hmm.
was lazy. And now like it also dude, it also got me like this in jujitsu too. Like I got up to a certain level and then I realized, man, talent I mean, it only gets you so far, and then the hard work has to come in.
Hmm.
These guys are working hard.
Yeah, it's definitely it's a very more cerebral sport, like you were saying. So you can't really,
Yeah,
you can be athletic, but there's some point where you have to switch to technical aspects of it.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
What
there's
uh, what are some outside resources you use to kind of learn new moves in jiu-jitsu that isn't your coach? I know you said YouTube.
um so I cross train a lot.
Okay.
I go well, not so much in these last couple months just because of my like little injury that I had.
Hmm.
Um but like I cross trained at a couple Gracie Bajas, which was cool because then you get to see their style and see like what you do that works, and what doesn't work. I train at HQ a lot. I used to go like once a week. 10 round Tuesday is pretty badass.
That's crazy.
And dude, honestly, like, so I have my head coach, and then I have another coach, Danny Gutierrez. He's also a coach at 10 PHQ. He'd be actually a great guy to have on here, dude, if you want to reach out.
Yeah, definitely.
The black belt from HQ. He's like one of Eddie's main guys. But every time I go to his class, man, it's like my game changes. It's like you level up like crazy. So anytime like HQ, you get some HQ training, that's the way to go.
Do you think that it's just the detail of educating that they have and understanding of the positions that makes you feel like it's the next level?
Well, I think it's not just that, but it's adding on to what you know
Hmm.
already. Like
Okay.
say you're taking someone's back and you only know A, B, C, like they know D, E, F, like etc. So they can really like add to your game,
Hmm.
add to like your foundation. Now you have these cool little moves you can add to your toolbox.
Hmm. That's yeah, that makes sense. Just adding more and more.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I thought that was the only way to do it. No, there's like four different ways. You just didn't learn them yet.
That's true. Do
Yeah.
you Do you think that cross training in a way could replace that need for having to compete at tournaments every month and by getting those different views?
Dude, yeah, I think so. But it's still not the same as
Yeah,
the speed of competing.
the nerves
Like
and the
I try to tell some guy like I try to tell one guy this is his first tournament, and I was like he wasn't nervous at all, and I was like, all right, dude, like you're not nervous or anything, but I just want you to know when you clinch up with this guy, it's gonna be like stronger and faster than like you felt, even with like bigger dudes.
Mhm.
So I just want you to be like ready. Don't be so relaxed right now. So there is that different speed, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the nerves and competing in front of everybody. Sometimes it's like one on one in front of a room of freaking 80 people and you're just sitting there like, "Oh, don't embarrass yourself, you know?
That's true. Don't do something stupid.
Definitely you get that little nervousness
Yeah.
because you I feel like you have an expectation at
Mhm.
that gym. Like you're going in as this new guy, everyone's gonna try and beat you up, and you also like think you could kick some of their butts. So,
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, I'm like, I bet you I could beat that coach. No.
Watch out, he's coming for people.
Yeah, yeah. Don't take me to school. No. Um,
What do you think?
but yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I know that like cross training's kind of iffy. I know we're getting better about it definitely as a sport, but the idea is kind of like you stick with your school and you train under your school. What do you
Yeah.
think? Like, how would you approach your coach if it's someone who isn't so much like okay with you going and training at other places?
Well, I think if your coach isn't okay with you training at other places, you definitely shouldn't be training at other places, especially if you want to get promoted. But I would just talk to them. I feel like a lot of new coaches, maybe not the old school like Brazilian dudes or like the gi dudes, but like I feel like a lot of no gi and the younger coaches, they want you to go out and learn different things and bring it back to our gym. They want like I myself would want you to go out learn this technique, come back, show me it, and I'll be like, "Oh, cool. Maybe we'll add that into level 2, you know?"
Hmm.
Like it's always good value for your gym, especially like you can always teach something, you
Yeah,
know? So like the more you learn, the more tools you have to teach. I think it's I think it's a good thing. But definitely don't think about competing for another gym.
yeah. Don't
That's
do
a
that.
big one. Like if you're a gi guy or if you're a no gi guy and somehow you want to compete in the gi, better be competing for 10th plant. You know what I mean?
That's
Like,
true.
don't compete for Gracie Baja just because you train there twice a month.
Yeah. What do
Yeah. And
you?
I feel like their coaches will be like that. Be like, what are you doing, dude? Like,
Yeah, it's probably not
we all
the
lost that much
best.
weight.
Yeah. What are your thoughts kind of on you said it yourself, yeah, don't do it if you don't like if you're okay with not getting promoted. What are your kind of thoughts around the belt and belt system and as we go into this like ADC taking over, ADCC, we kind of see the loss of like belts mattering. What do you think about that?
Dude, wow, that's a good question actually, because I'm dealing with that right now because I have a friend who's really freaking good and he's like a self-promoted purple belt or blue belt. I forget what he calls them, but he's also like blue and 11 stripe, like
White belt.
white belt, the different kind. But yeah, man, I've had my blue belt for a long time, and like people are like, "Oh, dude, I thought you were like a purple or brown belt." I'm like, "Talk to your coach, bro." My belt.
Yeah.
But that being said, there was a time where I'm like, I need my purple belt. I want my purple belt. I need the respect of a purple belt. I was really like hung up on it.
Hmm.
Um, but then, you know, I just kept my head down, kept grinding, and like people started messaging me and reaching out for private classes, and I'm like, man, maybe it really doesn't matter at this point. You know what I mean? I think just showing your work
Hmm.
and being able to do what you got to do. It shouldn't be like. like, oh, that guy's a purple belt. He knows less or more than that blue or brown belt, you know.
Hmm.
Um, so I think yeah, with this new ADCC, you see these young guys like that are just blowing up like everybody. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to bring him up again, but Lou,
Yeah.
he trained for a couple years and he was a white belt for a long time in expert divisions, like crazy.
Hmm.
And then now he's purple belt, but it's like things like that. Like you don't really know, you know what I mean? Because there's some blue belts that tear up black belts, you know what I mean? And there's some black belts that just make you feel like a kid when they touch you, you know what I mean? Like you're a toddler. So
Hmm.
I think definitely the belts have like, if anything, for me, maybe not a skill thing, but a respect thing. Like like you better not be rolling with that 55-year-old black belt the way that you'd roll with that 28-year-old blue belt. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
you got to have some respect for your guys, or else the mountain force is coming for you. you know.
Yeah, that's true. It's the belt's kind of the only thing really holding jujitsu to that like traditional jujitsu that we've used to have.
Exactly. That kind of machismo type of I guess it'd be like a hierarchy,
Yeah.
right? In the gym, maybe they can't beat you in a match, but they got the respect of the gym. You need to respect that.
Hmm.
Um, so I guess going back to your question, just to circle back, I don't think belts are as important now with this new game that's coming along.
Hmm.
Um, yeah,
So just
but they are so important, I think.
yeah, they're definitely they're there for a reason.
Yeah.
What do you think like you're saying Lou was a white belt for super long, you're a blue belt for super long. Where do you think like it's just been too long to keep that person at that belt?
I think maybe like in our cases, um, maybe in my case it's a little different because blue and purple are kind of right there together. There's
Hmm.
like spectrums of blue belts where like you have them coming in first, second in IBJJF worlds.
Yeah.
Um, and then there's those purple belts that really suck. But I think yeah, it's a balancing act sort of. you know.
Yeah, and it ends up being like coach to coach, not really. There's no like, oh, you did this and now you get this. Unless you do
Yeah,
the
yeah. I don't
Gracie.
know. I don't know if there's like a way to like say how to get that next belt or whatever. I think
Hmm.
it's just up to your coach.
Do you think that if we find separation in the belts and the athletes, we can start to come to a more professional level of the sport where we do have these like where black belt is kind of seen black and brown as like the professional athletes and everyone under that
Mhm,
isn't really seen as professional. But if we kind of disregard the belt system and look at the no-gi system, we actually
mhm,
have professional blue belts that are competing.
mhm.
Do you think going away from that would help increase the sport's notoriety as a real sport?
I don't. I don't. I think it's important to have those belts. Um, and like you said, you have those blue belts that are like world champions, and let that should be like seen. You know what I mean? Like this guy's like blowing up. Oh, sorry, the dogs are going crazy next door.
You're good.
Um, so like yeah, I think it's still an important thing um, to keep the belts, especially like to keep it at a professional level. And
Mhm,
I honestly think purple is is an upper belt is a professional type deal because if you think about it, like most coaches are purple belts. You know what I mean? Like
mhm.
you'll have that black belt or that brown belt that does like the professional classes or like the advanced classes, but purple belts like your teaching belt. You know what I mean? Like so if you're teaching this stuff, like I feel like you have to have like a certain like
Level.
qualification. Like if you think about a teacher, right? In elementary school, like they have to have their like, degree in teaching. And that's like I feel like that's your belt is like your degree of teaching.
Okay.
So yeah, if that answers
No, that
your
does.
question.
That's good. And it kind of helps me go into this other question I had on like kind of pursuing a career in jujitsu and how
Mhm.
because it's a very hard sport to be financially stable in
Yeah.
and continue to train. What would you give some advice for that? I know you're teaching and working on
Mhm.
social media and stuff. Do you have like a path you would advise someone to start taking?
Um, definitely get your bills as low as you could if you're gonna like on as a professional like thing because there is not a lot of cash until you start building that camaraderie. Like right now, I have I have maybe 6, 7 classes a week that I'm teaching.
Hmm.
Um, so I do like 2 beginner classes a day and then like 3 kids classes. And I'm finally starting to like get a little paycheck from it. Like I made my first $1,000 from jujitsu like in January.
There you
So
go.
like now it's like steadily increasing and like privates definitely help. I do like a little bundle package for people because I'm like, dude, I don't want to do one private with you. Like you need to at least buy 5. So
You're a good
do like a
salesman.
bundle package. Yeah, and it makes me like an extra 400 or 500 bucks a month. So definitely keep your debt down. Pay off all your debt as your like white and blue belts. If you want to pursue this professionally, I would suggest that's what I'm doing is trying to pay off all my debts, trying to have like where I don't really need to work other than going to jujitsu.
Hmm.
That being said, I do really want to open my own 10th planet. So there's only a few avenues to actually make some cash in here. You could be an Instagram influencer, which is few and far between. You could be a gym owner, um, or you could be the professional athlete that's raking in all this cash. Which now there's like World Series of Jiu Jitsu every
Hmm.
twice a month. It's like you win $1,000 each time you win that thing. So
Hmm.
if you got it, you got that heat, like you can make some cash at these cash tournaments. Um, but for the normal people that are trying to make it by, I would say, um, start a little niche market, sell some freaking flip flops or rash guards or something. You know what I mean? Start a podcast. Start a YouTube channel. But I don't know if there's any money in it until you're up in the purple, brown, black.
Hmm.
So it's gonna be a tough one, but if you're willing to do it, you gotta stick it out, and I'll be your example here. You guys could take my lead and see where
Yeah.
I am in a year or two.
Yeah.
Be
Uh,
steady.
what do you recommend as like a career while you're doing this that if you did need it?
So, um, there's a couple options. I think like night security is a good one. A
Hmm.
couple dudes do night security and then they just train all morning, and they go to sleep and come back, train 4 or 5 classes in the morning.
Yeah.
Same deal. I do Uber and Lyft.
Okay.
I've done that for like 3 years, 4 years now, but it's a pain.
Yeah.
Um, definitely want to coach more. But something flexible like that. Something flexible, especially because you're gonna be sore as hell.
Hmm.
Um, or if you can move back into your parents. That's a cool way to save money on rent.
That's true. That's easy. And then when it comes to like asking or talking to your coach about coaching in general, how do you approach that and how do you approach that? Like I know sometimes maybe a coach will set it up where it's like you'll coach and you get the membership fee comped or something. How would you set it up to where you're getting paid?
So we were actually doing that. My coach had us doing the kids classes, and then obviously when you that's just like a known thing when you do kids classes is you're just or when you get your blue belt, you're a slave for the kids class.
Yeah.
Like that's stereotype of it. But yeah, we would. I remember I was working for membership, and then all of a sudden my coach was like, "Hey, here's a check," and I was like, "Oh, cool." So he started paying me like a little minimum wage check, which was chill, man. I'm like, "Dang, first $100, let's go."
There you go.
You know. So yeah, it was sort of like that, and um yeah.
So it kind of
I
just
I
fell into your hands.
yeah, kind of just fell into it, you know. I definitely asked for more classes. I was like, "Hey, man, this is something I want to do." I let my coach know this is something that I think I want to do as a career. You know, me and another training partner from the gym, um, we both started at the same time, and we both kind of have the similar career path. So um, one's doing like the beginner classes for adults, and one's doing the kids program. So we kind of just let our coach know, and our coach is pretty entrepreneurially like mindset. Um, he's opening another gym uh, a few miles away pretty soon. So he actually has us. It's pretty wild. So we're on a good little pay now, and we have health insurance.
Oh, damn.
It's crazy.
That's
Yeah, I
sick.
got Kaiser health insurance off of this
There you
job, bro.
go.
So there is a way. There's a way to do it.
Yeah, you can make it.
You can make it.
Do you think it's okay, like if someone was in your position to ask for maybe, hey, you don't have a 7 o'clock class. Could I fill in and teach this at 7 o'clock?
I think so. I think so. And I think the way to do that is offer to volunteer to do that.
Hmm.
I think the best way, because coaching is fun and like so many people want to do it. You'll see like the guy on day two trying to help the dude through the move. You know what I mean? Like
That's true.
just something about like knowing how to do it. Even though they're not good, they're still helping them. I'm like, all right, cool, cool. Let's see what you got. All right, cool.
Hmm.
You know. So yeah, definitely ask. I would, closed mouths don't get fed. So ask, see if they want it. If you think you're that guy, why not? Why can't it be you?
Hmm. Why not do that? And
Exactly.
well, what would you say some of your like biggest career failures were, and how do you think you learned from it?
Career failures. Man, so I was actually on my way to becoming like a restaurateur. I worked as like a manager, a general manager, bartender, all every position in a restaurant you could think of. And like I think just having tunnel vision is what got me, you know, in in in, in kind of like a crummy situation. I mean, I loved it, but being on the clock 24 hours a day,
Hmm.
phone ringing, having to deal everything on your shoulders like that, and it not being your own business
Hmm.
is was kind of crazy to me. So I worked for a lot of people, and everyone was kind of the same. They just wanted you to wait hand and foot on them, do everything for them for a little salary. So I think just like I trapped myself in that, and when I got back from school, I figured out, hey, jujitsu's really really chill. So definitely don't have tunnel vision, um, in a sense to see like other options that you could do. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like you can always change. You can always do something else, and that's what's beautiful, especially about living in America. Like
That's
you
true.
know, you can do whatever you want here. If you don't can't make it here, I don't know, man.
Yeah, good luck. That's
Yeah.
rough. Do you have any examples like that in jujitsu too?
Examples of that in jujitsu, man. I would actually say like competing. Like there's those tournaments where like you really don't take them that serious, and there was one I can remember. Uh, I didn't take it as serious. So I was just like, man, I'm gonna walk over these guys, like blah blah blah. And I actually came in last place in that one, and like everyone came out to watch me, and that was a tough pill to swallow. So, um, yeah, man, definitely. not it definitely has happened in jiu-jitsu where, I didn't prepare the way I should have,
Hmm.
and success is reserved for those who prepare well. So, you know, I definitely have those moments in jiu-jitsu where I take it for granted, and but you live and you learn.
Yeah, that's true. What do you think it kind of like taught you to prepare going forward?
It taught me how to respect other people's like games, you know what I mean? Like you got to prepare for everything now at this point, you know what I mean? Like at at the lower levels, you're like, "Oh, I'm just relying on this one pass. I don't need anything else." But, after that failure, I realized, "Hey man, like my wrestling isn't good. My submission defense isn't as good as I wanted, All of that stuff you have to learn from it and, put the forward and adjust and really put yourself in those bad positions to like figure them out, you know what I mean? Like it's a test. You have to test yourself every day and pass those tests.
Hmm.
And if you don't, you're gonna fail on the day of the actual like exam.
Yeah, when it matters.
Yeah, so studying for sure.
And then when it comes to kind of studying and your coaches and everything, what advice would you give someone to find a good coach? Like how do you think that finding, because it's hard. Sometimes you get a coach that sucks and you just don't really mix with them.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I mean, it is a tough it's a tough thing to like figure out fast, you know what I mean? Cuz like everyone's so cool when you meet them, especially the coach trying to get your money. You know what I
That's
mean?
true.
"Oh, bro, like, heck yeah, you're gonna love it here," and then you sign up for a year contract, and you're like, "Oh crap, that guy doesn't really like me." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know if I really even like him. So like then you're stuck in there for a year, and you have, um, but I would say try out different gyms in the area. Like try them out. Tell them like,
Mhm.
"Hey, let me try this out," and really like talk to the coach and like try and like hang out with them a little bit and see like there's those guys that try and hang out after class. I'm like, "Oh, bro, just get the hell out of here." You know what I mean? But then there's those guys out, and I'm like, "Oh, cool, like let's go sauna." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like you'll vibe it. You'll feel it. And like, if it's not vibing with you, then I wouldn't pursue it, especially because it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu ain't cheap, so
That's true. It's definitely
definitely
not
try out a couple different guys.
okay. And then do you have like three most influential people to your jiu-jitsu game that you could kind of just name off the top of your head?
Off the top of my head, man, definitely Eddie Bravo has to be one of those guys because he kind of comes from the same like background as me, like Mexican American guys into music, kind of punk rock, and then finds jujitsu. He's like, oh hell yeah, this is my thing, right?
Mhm.
Um, and Jean Jacques Machado for pretty much inventing the whole no gi game, um, with the overhook underhook game that 10th Planet is really based off of.
Mhm.
And then for sure Gordon Ryan. Gordon Ryan and Mikey Musumeci, I think, are my like top influential guys right now.
Mhm.
Mikey Musumeci just man, he's just so technically sound. Everything just like whap whap whap. Everything just so good. And then Gordon Ryan just a workhorse. It's like
Beast.
you know, I don't even know if like all right, this might be very controversial, but he seems to be like very evenly matched until that 14, 15 minute mark and then they start to break. So technically Mikey Musumeci is my guy, but like as a beast, as a competitor, Gordon Ryan's like just, on another level.
Mhm.
It's just like, that's goals right there to just because I feel like when I compete, I'm like so good until I get tired and then I'm like, damn it.
And then
You
you're
know,
just struggling.
if I could just grind it out and be a dog like that and just be
That's
able to like persevere, you know?
Where do you think going to Gordon Ryan? I'm gonna kind of bring up like your thoughts on steroids and where that plays into. Um, I do think that steroids can be very beneficial personally in the aspect of jujitsu and your like initial kind of grappling
Yeah.
career, but in terms of longevity, I don't believe they're that great. So, what are your kind of
Uh,
thoughts around steroids and that?
I think they're cool if you're not competing against people that aren't on them. You know what I mean? Like obviously it's a benefit to you.
Hmm.
Um, so maybe like do a natty or not league. I don't know. That'd
Yeah,
be kind of um.
bodybuilding style.
But as far as like training in the gym, like I don't think it matters. Like I have some bodybuilders that are for sure like on something, and like I don't think it matters if they're just training with it. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? But if you're competing, I think it should all be level playing field.
Hmm.
I even think like those day in weight cuts or day in weigh-ins should be or day before weigh-ins should not be um
Allowed.
part of the system. Yeah, they shouldn't be
Yeah.
allowed. I mean, I could also cut weight too. I mean, it's a rule set. I guess it's cool, but it's kind of the same thing where like it's not an even playing field.
Hmm.
But I definitely don't have a problem with it. I'm definitely probably gonna get on it sometime when I stop competing.
Yeah.
Once I get into full-time coaching, for sure I'm gonna be all juiced up.
There you go. No, I think it's good to be honest because I feel like people kind of shy away from it and are like, "Oh, I don't want to touch it," but
Dude,
it's there.
honestly, I think that's the thing that from Gordon Ryan too, man. Like everybody was like, TRT, and then Gordon Ryan was like, I use it. It's not illegal, whatever. And
Yeah.
now everyone, I guess it's cool. I guess it's cool. You know what I mean? Like,
Do
it,
you
it
think that because you were saying, well, you want to have an even playing field? Do you think that it's the fault of the athlete not taking it because it is legal now?
um, I guess so, man. Like, you know, it's up to you, I guess, because like, yeah, you could take it. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? But you also like, it depends on what you want. You know what I mean? Are you taking it to like kick some ass, or are you taking it for injury prevention to be able to train more,
Hmm.
or you taking it to grab someone's neck even harder? I mean, I think it comes down to your like morals.
Yeah,
Um, and some people have better morals than other people.
that's true. Some people are better than others. So what's your plan for this year in jiu-jitsu?
Um, my plan this year in jiu-jitsu is to compete a lot more, um, not just for like medals or glory in that sense, but to build my teaching ability. You know what I mean? I want to be able to like answer every question you have that pertains to competing, and just overall confidence in it. Once you start getting those wins, you start to get super confident in it, and I haven't had some good wins in a minute, but that's my goal is to get some wins. Rack up a couple sponsors, and ultimately start quitting Uber and Lyft and start doing jujitsu, full time. Being able to pay my rent with it. That's this year's goal.
Okay, and are we going to see you at any of the big tournaments this year? We have Worlds. We have some. I think we have the East Coast trials.
Um, Probably not those trials. I don't think I'm, on par with them. Maybe to go get some like reps in.
Hmm.
But they're pretty expensive.
Yeah, they're
It's
hell
like
expensive.
150, 200. I'm like,
Yeah,
I don't know if I can go in and lose one match.
yeah.
Um, but I don't know if I'm at that level. Maybe you'll see me. But definitely, I feel like we have some big local tournaments like JJ World League. I don't know if you're familiar with it,
Mm-mm.
but dude, they have like 5,000 people every weekend, like 2 weekends in a row.
Jeez.
Um, yeah, so I got a couple sponsors, and I basically like let them know I'm gonna be wearing this stuff, uh, walking around here. You know what I mean?
There we
Walking
go.
around 5,000 eyeballs, and people have been like, "All right, cool, cool." You know that also. Um, I've been on some pretty big events like 10P events. I've done the 10P team duels, which are broadcasted on the Grappling Network. Um, I definitely hope to be part of a qualifier, maybe towards the end of the year. I'll definitely jump into one of those, maybe like a 145. I'll cut weight for that one for sure.
Nice.
um, but yeah, probably some big ones. Maybe this year I'll try and get onto like an Emerald City or a submission only series.
Okay.
Submission on the shore would be a good one. Maybe an art suave. But as far as like ADCC, maybe not.
Not yet. We'll take
Not
some
yet.
time there.
2 years, yeah.
There you go. And then before I close it out, I kind of like to ask this question. But what does BJJ mean to you, and why do you continue to do it?
um, BJJ is like, for me, it's my identity now. I mean, like I've done it for so long, so often now, that I feel like me without BJJ is kind of weird, like,
Hmm.
um, yeah, I think it means a lot to me. It's taught me a lot. It's taught me more how to be a man and how to be a leader, um, how to face fears, So it's been a great learning tool, a great tool for me, and I definitely would would recommend more people try it. You know, even if you're not trying to be a world champion, great exercise. It's great. It's a great way to face your fears. It's a great way to like drown out the noise of life. It's a great way to meet friends, make lifelong friends, um, and you know you get to beat people up and get beat up. It's fun.
Yeah, that's always fun. All right. Well, and then if you just want to kind of end it with shouting out whatever your Instagram sponsors, anything you'd like, and then we'll close it out here.
Cool, cool. I'd like to shout out Meadow Medicinals. They're my new CBD sponsor. They just sent me a bunch of stuff. We'll be doing raffles and stuff with that. Shout out 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu, you know, 10P4L. Let's go. Um, Shout out Coach Cooey, Matt Beast. Oh, my homie, he has a new channel out called Pulp Jitsu, where he does like kind of reviews on different types of like rash guards and stuff. It's pretty cool. Post some cool videos. Definitely check that out, guys. And then Grappling Network. That's a 10P thing too. Let's get it going for Plaster down from HQ. I'm pretty sure he's running that. So you know, any type of support for 10P is great.
Yeah, there we go. 10 feet for life. All right, man. Well,
10P.
thank you, and it was good talking to you.
Yeah, brother. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, it was great. It was a great chat.
Yeah, good to talk to you.